pew, pew.
Did it really? Did it really?
I don't know. Did it?
I don't know. I'm waiting. I don't see it. You might need to double click on it. Double click.
Relax. Waiting.
There it is.
So I don't like you touching things.
I know, I break things.
You break things.
I break things. I'm sorry.
Break
I got
things.
some sun today.
Mm-hmm.
So did he.
Yeah.
He got burnt.
I was pale.
He got burnt. You're gonna spit water out through your
Spit
nose.
that way.
It's not the first time you almost made me spit water today.
So, alright.
Hey, Paul. Dutch Off-Grid Homesteading, how are ya?
What's going on? Where is everybody? Come on now.
Emily. Hey, Robin. Sydney and bald-faced guy. Hey, Mr. Windswept, what's up? Nate.
You bald-headed.
He is bald-headed, isn't he?
So here we are.
To save the day. I'm listening, but gotta get Mom settled. Be with you in a few. Hey, Sydney. That's Mimsy.
Hey.
What up?
So let's start saying hello. Hello, Cattywampus, Bald-Headed Farms,
So is it Miss Cattywampus or Mr. Cattywampus? Or is it
Dutch.
both Cattywampuses?
Off-Grid
Is
Homesteading,
it Cattywampi?
Appalachian,
Mercantile.
making lemonade from lemons.
I'm fine, just home from work. Cool.
Kathy.
You always do that. Songbird Homestead. Hello.
Songbird Homestead. Hello.
Songbird Homestead.
Windswept. Hey, Karen, how are ya?
So, and we do have some special people out there.
Here I come to troll the day.
What's
We
going
do have
on,
some
Dutch?
Special.
We do have some special
Hey there,
people.
guys.
He's special. Mrs. Jason is working.
Mrs. Jason?
No, Mrs. Jason is working.
That's
It's
not what
two-
you said.
No, it is exactly what I said.
No, it's not. You did not pause. You said Mrs. Jason is working. So, hello everybody, and to our special
Special guest.
guests out there in the audience. Thank you guys for tuning in. You were supposed to do this with
Your finger stinks.
Yes.
Where did you have your finger?
me in my help.
Oh,
I
you
thought
really
about to say
shouldn't
something
do
else.
that. Really shouldn't do that. I think I'm allergic to that stuff.
Okay.
Heading to get the boss. We'll tell her we said I'm at work. I'm on lunch break.
What's up, lunch break?
Yeah, for Windswept.
Yeah,
She's
I know.
yeah. Hey, Mark.
It's more like dinner break, though, right?
Mm.
More like dinner break. Did everybody get the notification?
I didn't.
I know a lot of people haven't been getting the notification, and I haven't been getting the notification for other people's stuff until like a day later.
Yeah.
I think Jason thought I was just kidding, and then I just started sending him screenshots. I'm like, look, I just got a notification for the
like-
Monday Live on Wednesday.
Oh,
like,
wow.
what?
Like Brassard's live that's
Yeah.
on Thursday
Yeah.
at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Yeah.
Who's not even in my live stream yet.
I know, right?
We usually get his notification for his live
On
stream
Friday.
Friday or Saturday.
Yeah, that's crazy. Hey,
Yeah.
Brenda. Yeah, I don't understand how that.
Y'all tell everybody that we're live, because right now, I mean, we got a whole whopping 26 people in here, and that's not the norm.
I didn't get the notification.
See? So if you could, guys, spread it out on the social media.
The interweb.
Interweb.
No notification. Hey, Niana. Hello, Anita. I got one. Yeah, some people get random ones. Some people don't. It just kind of.
Let me tell y'all something. Sydney told me that tonight that if we got up to 100 people,
Oh, no. You're in trouble.
he would dance the no-no square dance.
I don't even know what the no square dance is.
He said that while we were butchering chickens. He was like, Jason, and I was like, what? And he said, I'm going to do something special for you tonight. If you get 100 people...
I on live stream.
Especially when you're lying on the nakedness.
Appalachian Mercantile said they got the notification today. I don't think that many people are staying at home anymore. There was a lot of people here today.
Hey, Teresa.
Yeah, on Saturdays it seems like that does. Oh, look who's here.
Must have read that wrong. Gemini Homestead in the house. Going to be probably a lot of issues with the internets now because
it's Saturday night, so.
Saturday night, a lot of folks are streaming. A lot of folks are, because everybody's stuck at home. And so please bear with us. It's just one of those things that, unfortunately, we got to deal with right now. I think I probably need to refresh this to be able to get the chat back. Let me refresh this and see what happens.
There you go. I got your message.
Oh, you got my message?
Mm-hmm.
Come back on yet?
Bow. Yeah. So, it's, and we live in a rural area, so there's not a lot of bandwidth. To necessarily go around in our area to begin with. And so we kind of, our internet company knows we do this every Saturday, and so they try to work with us as the best they can to make sure that we are getting enough.
Mm-hmm.
But that was pre-corona.
Mm-hmm.
Now it's after.
Well, and so the problem is a lot of people are working from home. A lot of people have children that are going to school from home.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then just keeping kids busy. There's a lot of really cool online resources for kids right now while they're home. But again, that all takes bandwidth. So if you want to go tour the Louvre or tour the some of the castles in wherever, you can do that, but it requires internet bandwidth.
Yep.
So.
And plus, we do have storms coming through the area. We reached out to Jess and Jeremiah. They did not get hit by that storm. But y'all start praying for Nunda at Bontier Homestead. It's starting to come through her area. She's underneath a tornado watch or warning right now. Watch. And so it's coming through that area. So it might even come this way, trickle into our area.
Mm-hmm.
So y'all just put those kind of folks in your prayers. Obviously, pray for the hot zones, New York City, the state of New York, New Jersey, Connecticut, New Orleans, all of our Louisiana people. You guys are up on the prayer wall. We're praying for y'all.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if a lot of y'all caught the news tonight, but Trump is thinking about trying to order a federal quarantine.
Stay-at-home order.
New York, New Jersey, and Connecticut.
Mm-hmm.
And depending on how that goes down, I would not be surprised to start to see it in New Orleans, then like Atlanta, then maybe Philly, a lot of the bigger cities. Because here's the thing, folks.
Hey, I wear aprons.
And I'm just gonna keep it real. Every morning we sit down with the girls as part of homeschool and watch the news for current events.
Mm-hmm.
And every morning I get to listen to the governor from New York screaming about they need more ventilators, they need more this, they need more that.
More government support.
But then the news shows a glimpse of his Subways, and people are packed in there like sardines.
Still.
Mm-hmm. They showed one that it was a shot at like 5 o'clock in the morning, and folks were packed in the Subways like sardines.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sorry, but this is, if this virus is doing everything that you see on the news that it's doing,
Philly is hit hard, so is Pittsburgh.
Why in the world are you not stopping your people from getting on the subways? Why are you not shutting those subways down? So
there are people in Connecticut not practicing social distancing, going to parks and stuff. Look, we saw that because Jason had to go. He has his acupuncture appointments, and when this stuff first started, we tried not going for a week, and Jason was miserable that following week. So we had to start going back to do his appointments. So basically what we do is we go there and we come back. If we have something that we just have to have, we'll go directly to where we need to go and then come home. And we were driving Friday. Jason had an appointment, and there is a park on the way to the doctor's office, and sure enough, there's people all over the place in the parks. And the thing that I think people don't think about, one of our local mayors, governor, one of them, within our region of where our TV reaches, they were saying, look, we've got to close down parks because it would be one thing if you guys would just let your kids run. Mm-hmm. If you're just letting them play out in the open air, fine. But you're putting them on swings, you're putting them on slides, you're putting them on all the little ridey things. We can't possibly keep that stuff disinfected. Like, use your brains, y'all. Like, this is not a federally mandated vacation. That's not what this is. And, what's her name? Lauren just left a minute ago to go do her milking. But she was telling me one of her frustrations is she's so excited to have the kids home. But at the same time, it's frustrating because it's not a vacation. It's not like you could just go do anything. You have to be resourceful at home. And so that's like the thing that people are having this hard time of making the conversion over, that this is not time to have vacation. This is something that you have to take seriously. Yeah. And that's what I think. And so we have seen we saw a couple really cool things on our local news. That they were talking about. One neighborhood, they had a small toddler that was getting a little antsy, and so the mom reached out. They lived in a neighborhood, and so the mom reached out and said her kid loved the book Going on a Bear Hunt. So she asked people in the neighborhoods if they had any stuffed bears to take the bears and put them in the windows in different places, high, low, wherever, inside their house, just to where she could see it if she was riding down the road. So then they put her in the car, and they would ride the neighborhood, and she would get to see where all the bears were. And so then other kids in the neighborhood do, but again, they're isolated in their cars, there's no kind of, interaction back and forth. And then there was another guy who's doing portraits. Family portraits. There's a lot of that kind of stuff going on, and as long as social distancing and no contact is maintained, I don't see any problem with that. But the problem is you have a lot of people that say to hell with that, and that's a problem. So
because of course our numbers are going to continue to climb because we're testing more people. That's nothing for anybody to panic about. Don't panic. The numbers are going to go up every day because more and more folks are getting tested.
Well, and not just that. One of the things they're telling people is because they're limited in how many tests they have, if you have mild symptoms, don't go get tested. Because until your symptoms get worse, don't take that test away from somebody who's worse off. So there may be a lot of people that end up doing all of this and getting it, but because it wasn't that big of a deal, they didn't go to get tested. And so there's going to be a lot of cases that don't get reported because they were mild cases. So the numbers are going to be, So,
and a lot of people,
hello, Max.
a lot of people right now, it's also the springtime, so a lot of folks are suffering from the pollen. And you know what? Here's something else I want to say. I want to kind of get on a little soapbox right here. Because one of the things that I try to do, to do every time I have to go to my doctor's appointment, and usually, like Robin said, when we know I'm going to a doctor's appointment, boom, we plan anything else that if I got to go pick up hardware or anything like that.
Yes, Thomas Farm Okie, we did. Go ahead.
Apollo has to go to the vet on Monday. He has a big boil on his one paw. And so we have to go get that looked at. Mm-hmm. But one of the things that I try to do, and I encourage all of y'all to do this. If you have to go out, when you're out, smile and say hello. You can say hello from somebody that's 6 foot away from you.
Yeah.
As you're riding down the road, most of us have our windows open right now because we're in that in-between stage. It's not hot enough to put the AC on in the car, but yet it's too hot to keep the daggone windows open. Mm-hmm. So as you're going down the road and you see somebody sitting on the porch,
wave.
It doesn't cost anything to do this.
And you're not going to get anybody sick doing that.
And you're not going to catch Corona, Ebola, H1N1, Gundaciffa, A, Simplex 12, anything like that by waving to somebody.
And being courteous.
Because in this day and time, mental health is huge.
Yes.
It's huge because people get cabin fever. And then people start getting depressed because they feel isolated. They feel alone. And it's one of those things that a simple saying hello with a smile on your daggone face or waving to somebody can actually make somebody's day. Mm-hmm. It can make them feel like they're part of a community again. It can make them feel like they're part of the society. That, hey, that fat bald guy or that fat guy with a ponytail that was riding that beat up Prius waved to me. He acknowledged my existence. Mm-hmm. And that can mean the world to somebody. What? What'd he say?
What did you do to Apollo, Jason? Any word from Blaze on how he's doing? No, we have not gotten a letter from him this week. So yeah, there's that.
What's up, Green Dream?
I was going to watch, but now I see who the guest is.
Jason's not that ugly.
That's why we only put your ear on the screen.
Yeah.
When you do go to the store, thank them. We have been doing that. Whenever we go, we're always very quick to say thank you for working.
Yes.
Thank you for being here and, taking the risk, because that's important. Some of these people are having to pull longer shifts because there are other people that are out, things like that. So yeah, definitely make sure that you're thanking the people that you come into contact with.
And not only the people that you come in contact with, but let me tell you something. If you got a firehouse close to you, and I'm not talking about the daggum sub shop. If you got a fire station close to you, or a police station close to you, and you've got nothing to do, bake some cookies. How hard is that? Bake some cookies, go up there to the door, leave the cookies down at the door, boop, 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 and get back to your car so you can keep that social distancing. Put it in a tin so that way they can wipe it down or whatever. But they would appreciate that. Some of these guys are working 12 on, 12 off, and they have to stay at the firehouse in some places, or they have to stay at the police station at some places. They're your sanitation workers, and I'm not talking about the trash man. I'm talking about the guys the turd herders.
The turd herders.
Okay? Those guys, the people at your water company, they are literally grabbing people at your power company. Mm-hmm. They're starting to get to the point where they're going to the single guys and gals first and saying, we're going to give you a flat salary. We're going to stock the break room with all food and water and drink. And they're bringing in cots. Mm-hmm. And they're saying, okay,
don't leave.
You're going to be here for a week or two. And then poof, they leave, and then another dude comes in. Oh my God. And so a lot of these folks are doing some hardcore sacrificing here to be able to make sure your power stays on. Make sure when you drop a deuce, it goes down the commode. Mm-hmm. You know, we were going to Lowe's this morning. Had to go to Lowe's this morning. That way I could get a lockpick kit to be able to get back in my shop.
No.
But there was a house fire, and it was surrounded by, that's called a bullfrog.
No.
The mindful home said, "What did I just walk into?" Yeah, we said turd herder.
But the firefighters were out there fighting the house fire. Mm-hmm. And let me tell you something. I don't know what was in that house or anything, but it was burned to the ground. There wasn't nothing left but 2 chimneys. Mm-hmm. So, but there was a bunch of fire trucks around there, so it was probably maybe more than one station was called. And these guys answered that call. You know, the other day, there was a bad wreck. Mm-hmm. On one of the roads that they were all of a sudden we were just getting a whole bunch of traffic.
They had to be detoured, yeah.
They're detoured people. And so that means your EMTs, your paramedics, your firefighters, your police department, these guys still answered the call. Mm-hmm. You know?
I mean, we have first responders and police. I mean, we have people in the chat that are that as well, and you know they still have to go to work. They still have to go do what they're being called to do. They are essential.
And let me tell you, it weighs on them. Mm-hmm. It weighs on them. I know it does. I talk to one daily, and I talk to him while he's at his firehouse, and
it was probably full of toilet paper. That stuff will burn.
And it weighs on them. Mm-hmm. Not only physically, but mentally, their stress levels up through the roof because they're going out to do a job. Mm-hmm. And if it's a car wreck, they can't keep 6 feet. Mm-mm. They're only as safe as the PPE that they get. And sometimes that stuff doesn't work, y'all.
So that's something that I think is interesting.
What?
The gas prices are changing all over the country, but for us, we haven't seen nearly the severe impact that everybody else is around us. Like Sherry just said, or Daryl said, that their gas price is at $1.39. We're still only at like $1.70 something, which we've been at that within the last 2 years. So that's not really that big of an impact yet for us. So we keep waiting for it to...
Well... Economics 101. Mm-hmm. Here it is, folks. Everybody, remember when all of us were fussing about when the gas was getting $2, $3, $4, $5 a gallon? Mm-hmm. And there was these things on Facebook going around and these emails saying, do not buy gas on this day. We'll show them. But none of y'all did it. Mm-hmm. Okay?
Yeah.
None of y'all did it. That email or Facebook post that was going around, if everybody stopped buying gas for that 1 or 2 days,
right,
that we would watch the gas prices go down. Here's a prime example of it. Yes, they had a little thing with Saudi Arabia, but it wouldn't have made it drop like how it's dropping. In some parts of the country, it's like... I've heard it that, where was it?
Under $1.
It was under $1 in like 2 parts of the country. Mm-hmm. Okay? And look, it's all about supply and demand. If you're not going out and buying gas,
it's still sitting there in their pumps.
It's still sitting there going bad because it has a lifespan. Mm-hmm. Okay, well, let me drop the price and see if I can get some people to buy. But nobody else is buying. Let me drop some more. Let me drop some more.
Terry, it's down to $1.71.
And so, y'all start sitting at home. Guess what? The gas is going to keep going down. And so...
There you go. A place in Oklahoma City, it was 89 cents.
Yeah. So, I mean, this is just basic economics. Mm-hmm. Okay?
Yeah, if it sits there, they're going to have to...
Same way with the stock market. Come on now. We don't all have to have business degrees to figure this out. Don't stress about it. Don't worry about it. The reason why the stock market's bouncing up and down like it is,
Leave it alone. Don't worry about it.
nobody's going out shopping, y'all.
Mm-mm.
Nobody's flying. Nobody's going on cruises. Nobody's driving around. Nobody's doing these things. Just like Robin saw a post today that said that the greenhouse emissions.
Oh, yeah.
And this is for all of y'all cow haters out there. I'm going to put it to you right here, right now. That the greenhouse emissions and the greenhouse effect is starting to drop because there's not as many planes in the sky. There's not so many cruise liners in the ocean. And not that many people are driving, but the same amount of cows are still out there doing the same amount of farts. So leave the cows alone.
That's nothing to do with the cows.
Ain't got nothing to do with a cow fart.
Was the naked gardener there to do a project?
Kind of.
Kind of. We had to school him a little.
I learned me something today.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
I kept my cool.
Did you? Yeah, it was kind of rough at first, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It's kind of hard to watch at first.
Yeah.
It really is.
I was watching some last night online.
Get yourself ready.
I was like, oh, I don't think I can do it. I was about to text Jason. I don't think I can do this. I don't think I can do this. Because I found one was very barbaric. He just had the animal on the thing and just got his... Oh, no! I was on the phone with Miss Nikki Guardian. I was like, I don't think I can do it. I don't think I can do it. She said, yeah, you can. Yeah, you can. I'm like, no, I almost threw it right here. I almost lost it.
It's funny how they kept that a secret from me today while we were processing the chickens.
What?
That you almost threw up just watching the videos.
Yeah.
Because I would have put war paint on my face.
How to get locked out of a shop.
Who said that?
Terry. Did Sydney quarantine for 14 days? He didn't come from a hot spot.
No.
Sydney had to come break the lock. No. Okay, so for all of y'all that don't know what everybody's talking about with Jason and his shop lock. Yesterday afternoon.
Robin had an abusive power moment.
Yesterday afternoon, did he learn how to get locked out of the shop? No. So basically what happened is yesterday, Jason finally got his table saw. Remember last week we were talking about how his table saw was locked up. So we figured that out and got it fixed. So he started ripping down pieces, trying to get everything set up, and moved the fence over to the left hand so that you could cut left-handed. And then the numbers were wrong. Somehow the measuring was wrong. So I had walked outside to go do something. Jason stayed inside and was kind of testing the wood to see if his measurements were right. And so he was doing that. I was sitting out there and I heard a sound that I've heard a million times from Jason watching YouTube videos about safety on table saws. And it was...
And then she got all upset and just locked the shop.
Stop.
No,
so then what happened is I went into the shop. You were so full of it.
I didn't do nothing wrong.
So when you didn't really do anything wrong. So I went into the shop and Jason is holding his side.
I was giving myself
and
a
he's
hug.
turned backwards so nobody can see him.
I was hugging myself, telling him, you know what, you did a good job today. You need a hug.
Really what happened, it was just a little kickback. I could see grounding him if we cut a fingertip off, but not kickback. A little kickback. A little kickback. It left a mark. You still got the mark?
Huh?
You didn't tell me
Still
that.
got the mark? Let me see.
No.
Let me see.
I am not getting naked on a live
Well,
stream.
then step off to the side and let me see it.
I want to see it. Let us see. Let us see.
Take it off.
Take it off. Take
Give me
it
$1. Give me $1.
Let me see.
See? Okay.
Yep. Look.
Holy moly, it's huge! Oh my god!
Yep. So he did. It hit this side, and immediately he lifted up his shirt and.
Well, I had to tell Dessa and Carol to get out.
Yeah, because Ladessa came.
Ladessa saw it happen.
And saw him, grab himself, and
Grab my side, not myself.
whatever, grab his side, and so he kicked her out immediately. He's like, get out, get out, get out, get out. Carol started running over, get out of here. And and so basically I walked in there, I've been with him for 15 years. I looked at him and said, it's time to shut the shop down for today. Because you're a little frazzled and why, G to PG in less than a second. So it was one of those things where I said, it was 6:30. I was like, it's time to just shut the shop down for the night. You can start again tomorrow. Not a big deal.
You so did not say that.
Yeah, I did.
No, you are so full of poo.
I was like, you're done for today.
You said, you're done. Get out. You didn't even let me turn off all the lights. You turned off all the lights, and you locked the shop.
So, anyway.
And I came in here and started my campaign.
Yeah, and then I'm sitting on the couch trying to also recuperate from that because that was a little scary. And all of a sudden I start getting messages from people and Marco Polos from people. And
Sydney can get back in because all we see
because
we see
half of his face. So I just told him I just wanted him to take a break and then start again in the morning fresh because that can be a little scary. So that was what my intention was. So, but anyway. Let's see. Brenda said Paul's work is paying him $2 more an hour this week and $3 more an hour next week and $4 more an hour the following week just to show up for work. That's nice. Green Dream. Later, y'all. I got to eat. Go get you some grub. So anyway, that was really what it was all about. To be quite honest, it was his effort to lighten the mood a little because a lot of people are starting to. One of the things, when we talk about preparing for things, we think about, the food. We think about the toilet paper, the, toothpaste, the shampoos, the stuff like that. But we don't ever think about how something like this could.
I think about tacos.
There's all these things that we think about, but I don't think all of us really thought about what kind of implication it would have on our mental health. That's a huge thing, especially when the people that are really taking this seriously are trying to isolate ourselves and do the right thing. And when you're not having any kind of physical, contact with people, that can get rough. And so,
one of the things that I try to do every morning is
night, Karen.
I try to
stay safe.
Reach out to my very close personal friends, and I try to reach out every morning and say good morning.
I don't get a good morning. Guess I'm not close.
Yes, you do. You just don't answer. I gave up on you. You just don't answer. I'm like, you'll be here this weekend.
You need to check and make sure he has the right phone number because he apparently told somebody else last week and he didn't have the right cell phone number. Oh, look at here!
Besides, we check in with your wife because we like her.
No, I need to get
her.
But
that's one of the things that I try to do. I send my really close personal friends a message every morning. Some of them answer, some of them don't.
Some of them have gotten conditioned into waking up before Jason and sending him a message and saying, hey, I'm alive. Have a good day. In other words, don't bother me. But that's okay.
I hit every one of Robin's aunts every morning because they're in the danger zone age group.
Yeah, they're old.
Hit my aunt.
Well, and not just that. They're in not hotspots, but close. Like
Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
Florida, North Carolina,
Louisiana. So, they're in areas that are...
And Pennsylvania for mine. Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
On Philly. We got one in Pittsburgh, one in Philly.
One in Philly. So, they're definitely in areas, so... Look at here! Who are your really close personal friends?
I'm not even talking to him.
Does he even answer you anymore?
Yeah, he answers me.
No, okay.
He answers me because he knows I won't stop until he answers me.
I check on Jess every once in a while because I know how busy she is and how much she probably gets bombarded with things. So I try not to Like, you know.
I just worry about Jeremiah and the sherbet supply.
Oh, yeah, that could be a problem.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, California is being impacted so much that, you know, the supply.
Yeah. I know as Hollywood, he's probably feeling it.
Close personal friend equals those that provide cheesecake. Yes.
I was going to bring up old stuff.
And you figure Leslie will tell you if I croak, right? Well, you check in with him, don't you? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
I either do it via text message, Facebook Messenger, or Marco Polo.
Marco Polo. It just depends on
Marco
what.
Polo.
Yeah. Or, yeah. So. Yeah, and he's got a couple that, like, now have started setting him. It's like they set an alarm for 8 o'clock, and they're like, I'm alive.
My aunt does it. She's like, I'm still crazy, and I'm okay. And then one of Robin's aunts tries to beat me to the punch.
Because she's up at, like, 5 every morning, so, and that's 5 o'clock her time, which is 6 o'clock our time, so... She beats us to the punch now each morning, so it's nice, and I can tell you it's nice having people. Sherbet's not made in California, bonehead. No, I was just making a joke about you being a Hollywood Marine. That's all.
Oh.
You know, I came across a picture that reminded me of you the other day.
Oh boy.
Do you know that they make barista Barbie dolls with man buns?
With man buns?
Yep.
Interesting.
Don't Marco Polo me till you grow a beard again.
You don't ever answer my Marco Polos anyway.
Oh, that's funny. Catty Wampus is back. She must have been finished milking. That's cool. So, yeah. So, anyway. I get crowed at every morning. You know, we have a rooster right now, although we may have processed him, so it might be over now. But we did have a rooster that was like, he was waking up at like 3 o'clock in the morning. It's crazy. Jason, my Jason can just message you before he goes to bed at 6.
See, that's funny because...
Jason Momoa, no, not even close.
Somebody got a daydream going on. Big time. Jason Momoa, yeah, like Aquaman at a midlife crisis.
Wow.
After like 4 kids and 10 years of marriage.
We love you, Maya. Anyway. So, yeah. So it's been,
But this is, this stuff, y'all, in all seriousness, you do have to take advantage, and I say that correctly, take advantage of this. Life has slowed down now, so there's no excuse not to strengthen relationships. There is no reason not to strengthen friendships. There's no reason not to connect with people. Like I said, when you go out, if you got the ability to still be able to go out, say just 6 feet away, just say hello. Mm-hmm. Smile and say hello. Because a lot of this isolation is messing with people's heads. And it's really getting them down. And they start focusing on all the negative. They become glasses half empty kind of people. Mm-hmm. And, and getting out there, smiling, saying hello, and then get outside. Mm-hmm. Get outside. It's a proven fact that sunshine helps fight depression. Get outside.
Yep. Yep. And dirt, too.
Mm-hmm. Get in the dirt.
Mm-hmm. I did know that.
Didn't know what?
The DC.
About the DC streaming service. Yeah.
And hey, today on the news it said that Trump signed that one order that he can call all inactive members of the military back. And so I don't think that Jeremiah, myself, Sydney, Patrick, Nathan, or anybody like that has anything to worry about. There's still a lot more young people out there ahead of us that they'll call first. But, if they start dropping like flies from the virus, it could happen. But I'm telling you right now, Marine Corps, call me back. I'm keeping all my gear this time, and I want like an LAV. I want to come home with an LAV or a tank or something. I know Jeremiah wants that one plane that like when it shoots the gun out the side, it like slides like 600 yards. He told me about it. It was after my time. It was some gunship that would come in.
Yeah, so Mrs. Naked Gardener was saying, I'm taking advantage of doing stuff in the garden, making sauces, tedious chores I otherwise don't get much time for. It's been very therapeutic for the last few days. I'm going to smack him for you. Clearing trees for the driveway, yep. Mm-hmm.
This is the time to get all those, the times that when you're, see that
30.
All the times that you've been sitting at your house when you come home from work and you're exhausted and you were like, I would really like to put a raised bed right there and maybe grow some vegetables. Get her done.
Get it done.
You got all the time in the world now.
Yep.
Get out there.
Mm-hmm.
Attack Hercules C-130. Whew.
I hate flying in those.
Trying to figure out how to start a garden without bagged soil and no compost. Thinking of getting mulch from the woods.
There you go.
Yeah.
That'll work.
Yeah.
Start your own soil with some peat moss or cocoa core.
Yeah. I'll tell you, we ran into we went into Lowe's because it's off the beaten path. Of where everybody else is in Anderson. So that's the one thing I love about that Lowe's is it's off like towards the back end of Anderson, so not a lot of people were there. But they had some compost and manure mix that was only like $2.45 a bag. And so we were able to get a little bit of that to be able to top dress some of our beds. So
and Eddie was that say Hastings or hashtag or
Herzog.
I can't say that. You're absolutely right. There is a call from the Army and the Air Force right now, and I think the Navy. They are calling for all they're asking for volunteers right now. All doctors and nurses to come back. Medics. They're asking for all y'all to come back.
Well, even in the civilian world, I have a customer whose wife was an anesthesiologist, and she retired last year. And they've had such a drop in people working that she's actually come out of retirement and gone back to work at Augusta, in one of the hospitals in Augusta, because they don't have enough people to work around the clock the way that, because a lot of these people were doing like elective surgeries. So they had like, regular banker's hours kind of thing. And now they're having to work 24/7. And so, but then you have other people like your wife that's getting their hours cut in half, so it's just kind of, it's kind of.
But this is true testament to the American spirit. True testament. You've got people starting new things to lighten the stress. You see a lot of people taking food to service members, like the school system around here. They're still letting the cafeteria folks come to work
and make
food, and they're taking them to.
They're using the bus workers.
They're using the bus workers,
so they're still getting paid.
And they're delivering food to the neighborhoods where they know these kids, where we're counting on their school lunch to be able to get a meal or two a day.
Yeah. And
so there's definitely stuff like God is give. I think it was Jess that said it one time to us, that God was giving us the opportunity to stretch our trust muscle. God is giving the nation, the world, the opportunity to stretch its. What did he say?
He said, "My hours never change. Every day I'm hustling."
God is given the entire planet the opportunity right now to stretch its trust muscle. It's trust muscle, trusting in him, knowing that he's got it. He's in control. He's gonna look. It says it in the Bible. If he will take care of the birds of the air, why would he not take care of you? I paraphrase that, but
Terry, they do, but they want an arm and a leg for them. They want like $10 for one plant, so it's not really a good for blueberries right now. So
breathe.
I need to
like Mr. Miyagi said, breathe in the nose.
You can propagate them, can't
out the yes, you can propagate anything.
We need to propagate some.
Like Mr. Miyagi said, breathe in the nose, out the mouth. And relax. Get outside. Do something. It's a proven fact. You turn off the TV, turn off the radio, go outside and do something. It's going to improve your mood. I promise. With a double money back guarantee.
Bye, Mindful Homestead. Thanks for dropping by.
Try it. Try it. Just one day. Just try it. Okay, don't forget the sunscreen because it's getting a little hot out there because I don't want y'all getting sun poisoning. Talking about Big Bear told me to come out and get sun poisoning. Don't forget the sunscreen.
Gurney's wants $20 for one. That's crazy. Yeah. No, I think that's another thing. What I think is really cool about this situation is you have everybody from all different levels of awareness of this that are all, everybody's learning something. And so, like, I think it's cool that even the ones that were kind of prepared for this are able to figure out where their weaknesses were, what they need to do better, and then the ones that have no clue, they're learning that they had no clue. That's what I think. I'm really liking to see that because I think it's really interesting to see some that are finally like, oh, well, we were making fun of those people over growing their own food, and now here we are. Like that was one thing we noticed when we were at Lowe's is there's a lot of people grabbing plants. A lot of people.
Yeah.
And the other thing, we were talking to Ginger from McMurray. They've got a lot of people that are buying chickens, egg-laying chickens. But I hate to tell y'all, it's going to be 4 to 5 months. And really, then on top of that, you're going to be towards the end of the season at that point. So then you're going to have, they may not lay unless you hit them with a light.
But don't. I'm going to lock this down right now. Pow!
Hey, Poor Boy Homestead.
Don't be negative Nancy about that.
I'm not being negative. I'm saying I just want you to be aware of that. Like, that's one of the things.
Aware.
Some people aren't.
Are aware.
Some people aren't. Some people think that they're going to have chicks and then within because it's the Amazon effect. I can order something and within 2 days it'll be here. I can order chicks and within a month I should be able to have some eggs. And that's, that's the thing. One of the hottest topics in America right now is food security. Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. And, Jason and I have been saying for years.
Oh, you know what I forgot?
What?
Jeremiah. I forgot to tell you this when I seen you come in the room. Sydney said that if we get 100 people in here that he's going to dance. He said he's going to do the no square dance.
But one of the things that we've talked about ad nauseum, I mean, just not recently as much, is that grocery stores only have a few days worth of food in them at all times.
And now it's even less.
And now it's even less because there's been such a strain on that. And so, it's definitely making more people aware that's true. That's exactly. I was hit up today by someone that wants to buy some of my starts. I'm excited to see people more. Right.
Yep.
And see, that's one thing is that at least with the vegetable stuff, even a tomato, you still have a couple months before you're going to have
6 to
tomatoes.
Right, but these people that look, one of the things that
watch me whip, watch me. I ordered from Amazon yesterday, and delivery is in May. Yeah, that's
Look, one of the things. Let's stop talking about the negative stuff with this virus. Let's look at the positive stuff that this virus is doing.
Did you see him dancing on TikTok?
Look, people, a lot of folks, look, it's bringing people back to family, bringing people back to God, bringing people back to their food.
And their children.
And their kids.
Yeah. Look,
even if it's just out of fear and somebody's planting tomato plants because they want to make ketchup or something, it's getting people to recognize that they have the power.
Right.
That they have the power to be able to grow their own food. They have the ability to be able to provide for themselves. And then once they grow it and then they bite in that tomato, as long as they're, not like have a texture issue or something and can't bite a tomato.
Are you saying that for a particular reason?
No, I'm just saying there's some people out there that when you try to get them to bite a tomato, they're like, little schoolgirl. Can't
Where
do
they
it.
only do ground cherries?
Yes. I mean, I don't know. But they're going to taste it. And they're going to have the flavor is going to punch them in the face like a 1-2 back, and they're going to get excited about it, and they're probably going to do it again and again. It's getting parents involved in their children's education.
Yep.
Again, it's getting parents to look. Have you noticed? Here's a major thing that I think is going to have a huge effect. All you sports billionaires that are sitting out there that want to take a knee for the national anthem but not do anything else the rest of the year. All you sports and actors and
no tomato necessary.
all you actors, the actors that are out there that think that they're better than everybody else and they're all in your face about just how they were a month ago. 2 months ago.
Uh-huh.
Heroes are going to change now. Kids are probably going to start looking up to the fireman, to the police officer, to the nurse, to the doctor, to the teacher. Mm-hmm. And you know what? All the parents that were back there saying that,
my kid doesn't do that.
You know what? Now your kid doing it at the house, And so now you're going to start to, I honestly believe that you're going to start to see a shift. And you're going to start to see, hold on, I had to put up with you for a month during that quarantine and you acted a fool here. So I know you probably acted a fool at the schoolhouse. Mm-hmm. And whammo.
Got our pigs back from the processor yesterday.
Awesome. Smoke that belly. And I think you're going to start to see
774 pounds of meat.
You're going to start to see family game night come back into play. A lot of churches around here, I don't know about anywhere else in the nation, but a lot of churches around here are doing everything online.
Mm-hmm. We even saw one where there's a local drive-in. And they, well, you're wearing a Braves shirt. It's a t-shirt. Somebody gave it to him.
Yeah, my mama gave it to me.
Yeah.
And besides, the Braves ain't won a game since like
the 80s.
Chip. What was his name?
Chip White?
No,
I don't know. My kid would never. Yeah, that's my favorite. My kid would never do that.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so we all know that.
Because that was one of the things that we Googled.
We all know now what essential means.
Yeah.
I don't know. Not yet.
Not yet.
I still feel like...
We Googled this before we went online because we were talking about this as we were watching the news. And we Googled. It was 1979.
Chipper Jones.
Nolan Ryan was the first professional sports person that got $1 million contract.
Yep.
And then since then...
Yep.
It's gone downhill to where they're getting 10, 15, 20, $30 million contracts. Well, when you start throwing that kind of money out there, of course the kids are going to want to look up to them. They're going to want that life.
They want it, right? That's
so,
what it's boiling down to.
I think you might see a shift. I would love to see teachers get paid more. Love to see teachers get paid more in the public school system. You know, I'd love to see the Bible back in the public school system too. But I may be reaching on that one. But it's in my homeschool curriculum. That's a fact.
I think people having to homeschool their kids is the best karma ever.
You know, so do not just focus on the negative with this thing. You have channels like Roots and Refuge, The Naked Gardener.
I want to say something. Hold on first before we go too much further in that.
Sure.
I definitely, and I know Maya's on there right now. I don't know if Jess might be with the kids or whatever, but I was watching a video that she put out the other day, and I absolutely love her.
The list one?
So much. Yes. She did one about the tragic ignorance of treats and the importance of lists. And I want to tell you, she had a point where most of us would say it one way, and she says it a totally different way. She said, you know, she was talking about getting chickens for more eggs for their household. And rather than say, well, because we want to grow our own food or whatever, she said she wanted to do that.
She talks that way.
She doesn't. I
don't think she goes.
So she instead, what she said, and I just love her perspective on things. She said, I want to do that so that we can alleviate that stress on the food system and give other people who don't have the opportunity to be able to still get eggs. Yeah. And so I love that, because a lot of times we do get caught up in the whole food snob thing. So we grow our own food. We make our, we take care of ourselves. But rather than go that route with it, she said she wanted to take the stress off of the food system so that it would alleviate it for other people to be able to still get eggs. And I thought that was really... cool how she presented it that way, as opposed to just saying, well, we're just happy to be able to produce,
not just McDonald's, but Burger King, Jack in the Box.
But they won't, because they're diversifying. They're now delivering. Where they couldn't deliver before, they're delivering now because they were too busy. They couldn't afford to employ people to drive. Now, because they don't have people inside, they can now take those people, still have them working, and they're delivering. So, unfortunately, I mean, yes, I would love for that to happen, but I don't see it happening. That's my mission in the food movement. If we can put McDonald's out of business, we will have succeeded in so many areas. I mean, that would be... Amen,
because McDonald's amazing. Is the leading purchaser of beef and chicken, pork. Tomatoes, potatoes.
Potatoes was a big one.
Yeah. And so, and they kind of what drives the whole monoculture and the CAFOs and everything. It's McDonald's.
Honey Hollow Homestead, can y'all please pray for us? My sister's not expected to make it through the night. Trying to decide if we should travel for her funeral. It would be in South Jersey.
You're not going to be able to.
That area is getting hit.
I don't think you're going to be allowed.
You're not going to be allowed.
New Jersey, Connecticut, and New York.
In New York, they're fixing to be mandatory quarantine. Nobody in or nobody out.
Yeah.
It's like that old movie from the early 80s, Escape from New York.
Yeah, you can't. They're not letting people in and out.
Yeah. Well, just like in another group, one of the groups that I'm in on Facebook, this guy that lives on one of the close to the North Carolina border, he didn't tell me what state it was bordering. But they brought those construction concrete barriers, that goes down the side of the road when they're working on it, and they put it across the road at the state line and just put road closed on there. They're not letting anybody come in that way, and you're going to start to see a lot of that.
Yeah, he's not saying the virus will do it. I'm saying we need to educate and inspire so people stop eating there. Yes.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And I think this is the perfect platform for all of us to be able to do that.
Empower people to...
And every person in this chat room, I encourage you, make a video.
Look, I'm going to tell you...
Make a video, put it out there.
Yeah. That's one thing that I think is a powerful thing. Once you know, like for instance, right now we have a crap ton of lettuce in our garden. But we have no tomatoes, no peppers, no cucumbers.
I'm going to stop you. That's not... No. You know what's the most enlightening thing. Yes, I do. Yes,
well, what was I going to say?
You were going to talk about Dessa.
No, I wasn't.
Oh, yes, you were. You just acting like you weren't. No, the most enlightening thing is like if you go and look on our it's in our Facebook group and on our Instagram channel. This one right here with the carrot. It was her first time growing a full-size carrot, and she was like a 3-year-old that came down at Christmas and got her favorite toy.
I'm not gonna lie. Go to our Facebook. Yeah. If you go to our Big Bear Nation Facebook page, I did a small little video after I had just picked it, and you can see it on my face. Like I have a cheese ball grin, and even now, even though it
was a bigger grin than on our at our wedding. Mm-hmm. And she was cheesing that.
But what I was going to say is that as much as I have all this lettuce that I can use, I could have easily, and I was going to reach out to Sydney and say, hey, can you pick up a tomato and some pepper, whatever, for a salad? But the reason why I didn't? Because I knew that it would taste like crap if we got it from the store. Like, I know that much. Like, when Jess says tomatoes from the store taste like disappointment, she's not lying. And so it was like, why would I do that to my lettuce? Like, why would I put that crappy stuff on my lettuce? Like, it wasn't even worth doing it. I was like, I don't want to do that because it's going to taste like crap.
and it's different for me because I enjoy, like, when you get super excited. And, I mean, how you behaved over that when you pulled that carrot out.
It was hilarious. I was like a 3-year-old.
It just warmed my heart. And then yesterday or the day before, Ladessa went absolutely nuts.
Yes.
And we literally had to calm her down in order to figure out what she was freaking out about.
Yes.
And Ladessa,
she started squealing.
She got motivated and she took 2 of our very large pots and she stuck them in the corners of our dining room. If you've ever been to our house, we've got a bunch of windows in the dining room, and so she boom, 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 and she is growing tomatoes, basil, peppers,
cucumber,
and Mexican sour gherkins.
Gherkins.
Yeah.
Well, her gherkin, they all flowered, and she got a little excited when they all flowered. But the gherkins, there are tiny little cucumbers on there.
Little bitty. I mean, they're adorable.
And
she was squealing.
Went crazy. And once we figured out what it was, then the whole family went crazy with her and got excited with her. But that's what I see moving across this nation like a tsunami. Because when people for the very first time they put that seed in the ground and then the plant comes up, they get a little bit excited.
Oh, they got it.
And then they're watching our videos, your videos, Jess's videos, and they're learning how to prune this and learning how to do that. And then that fruit comes on there. They're going to get excited. And they're going to, that's setting the hook even deeper. And then when they bite into that thing, no matter what it is, and that flavor gives them that 1-2 punch in the mouth. I'm telling you, once you do it, you don't go back.
Even something as simple as lettuce. Like we were talking about this a couple shows ago when Katie and Paul were here. They bought some like spring mix salad, and it was the organic blah 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 stuff. and we had salad that night using it, and it was good. It was fine. But then 2 or 3 nights later, we had salad again because I had an overrun. I mean, like my bed was full of lettuce. It was time to cut it, and so I cut it. And we made a spring mix kind of salad. And Katie took a bite of the lettuce and she was like, whoa. I was like, what?
Yeah.
And she's like, this is the same kind of lettuce that was in that spring mix, but it doesn't even taste the same. It's a totally different. And I was like, and I didn't want to say anything a couple nights prior because it's like it was still lettuce, but it's not the same, y'all. It's a totally different, especially when you're picking it fresh and you're eating it within an hour or so of picking it. It's like we always do that with our greens right now is when it's time to start cooking dinner, we don't go pick the greens until it's time to pretty much chop them up and put them in the pan.
Mm-hmm.
And
like those mustards out there. Look, I like spicy food. I'm a spicy food kind of guy. Blaze and I, when Blaze were younger, we used to go out and we used to grow different peppers just to have our little father and son challenge where we would pick it right off the
Teresa.
bush. And
good night, Teresa.
like we started with jalapenos, and bam, you would chew on the pepper and you would eat the pepper, and the first one that ran for bread, milk, or water lost.
Yeah.
And then we would gradually, as the years went on, we started getting hotter and hotter and hotter. And so I like spicy foods. But those mustard greens, wow.
Yeah.
You don't expect it, and then they're like, oh, hello, pow!
Yeah. Yeah.
They have gotten good and spicy.
And the longer they grow, the spicier they get. The more mature the leaves get, the spicier they are.
Yeah.
I
love this. Ellery, who is Lauren and Jason's daughter, she said they had a garden when she was 7, and they picked cucumbers, and on the way back to the house, she said, I'm so proud of us. We grew food. So Amy said that I can make poo juice from the dehydrated lettuce.
Dragon's talent.
What's up? Heck no, Jason.
What do you say? And when you grow it yourself, you don't have to worry about E. coli. That's right.
Exactly. E. coli from pickers not washing their hands after they go to the bathroom. Yep. Exactly. Yeah. I always say fire in, fire out.
That's why you got to eat sherbet.
Put the fire out. Almost like turnip greens, but peppery. Yeah. Like that. Very peppery. Very peppery. You can dehydrate all kinds of greens. Yeah. We know you're addicted to dehydrated. She has like 5 dehydrators.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. I have some peppers I'll mail you, Jason. We and that's another thing is we're doing
mail. Ooh, I want to talk about that.
Okay, go ahead.
Mail. Mimsy's Garden hit me up today. She put a video out
a couple days ago.
Today or
a couple days ago.
It was a couple days ago?
Yeah, 2 days ago maybe.
Anyway, Mimsy's Garden put a video out that she was basically asking the question, all right, with this virus, mail.
Does anybody have a protocol for mail?
Do you have a safety protocol for your mail? Which got me thinking, as a formal United States Postal Service employee for approximately a month.
No, a couple months.
One chunk of mail. If I was to mail Jeremiah a birthday card, it would first my postal carrier would touch it. Then he would drop it off in his postal house. Then that person that gets it ready to go on the truck, he's going to more than likely touch it because he has to separate it. And then it goes from that postal house it'll go all the way up to Atlanta. And then from Atlanta, it gets separated again. So people got to touch it. Whether it's to put it on the conveyor belt, put it in so the computers can read it, to spit it into different things, somebody's going to touch it. Then once it goes from Atlanta, it's got to go to probably Little Rock, which is
right.
And then it'll go to their little postal thing, and then Jeremiah's postal carrier will touch it. So there's a good possibility that a couple of hundred to maybe even 1,000 people could put their hands on that birthday card.
Well, and not just that, but the contact between that birthday card to another piece of mail to another piece of mail, you've got all kinds of...
You got the zombie apocalypse because of mail.
But anyway.
So she asked me, she said, well, Jason, what are you doing? And what would you do if you knew you got a letter, let's say I got a letter from Joe Schmuckatelli, and then all of a sudden he calls me and he's like, dude, I got the coronavirus. What do you do? And I said, I haven't really thought about it.
Don't open it for 3 days.
At all. Thanks for messing up the afternoon mail run, Mimsy. Appreciate it. No. I said, you know what? I haven't really thought about it. But if it starts to get to the point where there's just a tremendous amount of people doing it, you would literally just wear gloves, go get your mail, and then let it sit. Have a table. If it's a sunny day, spread it out on the table.
Mm-hmm.
Let it sit on one side up for
15 minutes.
15, 20 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Flip it over. Let it sit out there for another 15, 20 minutes. And then you should be good. Because everything that you ever read about these viruses is that they can live on the surface, but they can only live for a maximum of like, I think I heard maybe one was like a day. And that was like cardboard or something. But when exposed to sunlight, it's like 5 or 10 minutes.
You're a Marine. It's not even Hollywood. Marines are immune to everything.
So if you got a sunny day, let it sit out for a little while. If you don't have a sunny day, let it sit outside your house in a protected area so it doesn't get wet, and just wait it out. Your partials, your boxes, and your envelopes, they are physically touched by people. And this is why you never send anything breakable through the United States Postal Service, because they grab them and they it's like the NBA. They're trying to make baskets into these little things. And so, but that's all it is.
12 hours is what I heard. Yeah.
Put them bad boys in direct sunlight, and they'll be golden.
Hold the mail. My local postal lady said that all postal employees are required to wear gloves now.
Mm-hmm.
I guess it's kind of like the whole SARS thing, when that whole SARS and anthrax was...
Yeah. But look, until they start sending all the mail through the radiant light stuff to kill everything on it, I don't care how many people are wearing gloves.
Yeah.
Because they're not changing their gloves after each time they touch a partial or they touch a letter.
Right.
So if they touch Sydney's letter and Cindy has
Sydney. Has
whatever.
a hard time with that.
He has this
that's
dude.
a tongue twister name.
This dude. That's because my brain's going faster than my lips. This dude over here has, because see, like 8,000 jokes are popping in my head, and none of them are appropriate. Let's say he's got some weird freakish disease, and he sends me a letter and it's his last will and testament because he wants to leave me all of his riches and not to
on my dad.
To Mrs. Nathan Gardner. But he's got this, right? And the mail guy touches it, doesn't change his gloves. Well, the next piece of mail that he touches, guess what he just did? He just spread that out. And I think that's one of the issues that we're having here. Everybody thinks like, look, I love.
Block it. Can you block that?
Nope. I love me some Tory.
Just because you're wearing gloves and the masks, if you're not practicing good PPE practices, i.e., if you go to Lowe's and you have gloves on to move the buggy, and you were wearing gloves in your car, when you leave your car, you should be taking those gloves off, throwing them away, and donning new gloves when you go into Lowe's. Because if you didn't, best case scenario, I'll tell you, you know what? It just popped into my head. Pow. When I worked in dialysis, we had an she wasn't that old, but we had an older nurse that worked there she was in charge of education. And when she was teaching about hand washing, and she was teaching about germs, she said the best way to think about this is you came from your car, and on your hand now you have blue ants. And you walked in here and you touched the door to come in here, but the person that touched the door before you didn't wash their hands or wasn't wearing the proper equipment, and they had red ants. So now your blue ants and the red ants got together, and they created purple ants. Well, the problem with purple ants is, hey, we don't have anything to fight said purple ants.
Right.
And that's how something like this breaks out. So if you've got your blue ants in your car and you don't change gloves before you go into Kroger, Walmart, Lowe's, or whatever, and on that buggy is red ants. Well, you just made purple ants, and there's nothing that we can do to stop the purple ants from eating everybody's sherbet cheesecake.
Well, and another thing I don't think people are thinking about, everybody's going to the drive-thrus right now. Okay? So you go out, I'll give you a good scenario. Jason and I go out to Lowe's, we go get our stuff, we need a drink before we go home. We stop at McDonald's to get a drink, let's just say. Well, if we were in Lowe's and we didn't wash our hands when we left Lowe's after touching everything that we touched, and then we go to McDonald's and we grab a drink, and let's say I touch my straw with my hand, bare straw with my hand, and then I put that straw in my mouth, well, that's no different either. So this whole thing of either going inside a restaurant versus a drive-thru, a lot of people aren't practicing good hygiene, and then they're going to eat somewhere and they're using their fingers because now they're not at a sit-down restaurant where they have forks and knives. They now have to use their hands to eat, and now they're putting their hands straight in their mouths.
Like my doc, for example. I love my doc, my acupuncturist doc. He is cool. He used to shake my hand every time we go in there. Now we elbow bump.
Yep.
And he has gloves on.
Nitrile gloves.
Okay? And he's taking care of that one person. But when he comes into me, he's literally, after he opens the door, he's taking the gloves off, throwing them away, and putting new gloves on, working with me. And then if he has to go out, anytime he leaves that room, he's taking those gloves off,
And re-gloving.
And you know he's spraying everything down with Lysol.
You can
Because
smell
you
it.
can smell
the minute
it.
you open the door, it hits you in the face.
You can smell it, and it's one of those that you know he has now spaced. I saw his appointment book. He has spaced everybody out
all day.
That at the maximum because he has 2 rooms. Maximum there'll be one person in each room. And that's it.
What makes you think your elbow's clean? Well, it's not that. It's you can't take your elbow and touch your face with it. So, it's okay.
Unless you double joint it.
Yeah, keep trying, honey.
No.
That's why a lot of people do the elbow bumps. Because even a fist bump doesn't really, because some people and then the other one that cracks me up is women who put their hair in their mouth. You seen that? It's a nervous habit. They take their hair and they put their hair in their mouth. Your hair is an air filter, so it's gonna catch everything. Oh my god! He's gonna sit here and try to figure it out. He's gonna hurt himself.
I gotta stretch.
That's one thing. Okay, so that's one thing I do want to say to everybody. I know everybody's wanting to do all of these projects and things like that. Please be careful, because one thing that did come up in my brain housing group yesterday when Jason had his kickback is that he would have had to be pretty hard off for me to take him to the doctor right now. I want you to think about that. Anything that you're doing right now, please be careful, because going into a hospital right now is not a good idea.
Yeah.
So if obviously if you chop a finger off or something like that, but what I'm saying is be careful now so that doesn't become a problem, because I don't want anybody to have to try and make the decision of whether or not they're going to the hospital because of how contagious everything is right now. So definitely be careful with that.
Thank you, Dawn. We appreciate that.
You just touched your elbow with your hand. Yeah, so that's the thing, is you could do that. Or you go through the drive-thru and the cashier takes everyone's money, then touches the bags, hands them to the customer. Guess what? If somebody was contaminated and handed money, exactly.
Well, look, one of the things that I learned from Copple Farm, because her husband is a turd herder, is that there are times that he said there's a lot of cash that just comes through, and they have to they
clean it.
They have to pull it out because it'll mess up the system. They have to pull it out and they clean it, and
they immediately
go buy something with it.
Put it back into circulation.
Put it back in the system. He said you would not believe the amount of poo and narcotics that are on cash. Makes me not want to handle cash anymore, by the way, people. Just saying.
And when I was went to the airport the last time, they wouldn't accept cash. They will only do
cards.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and that's why, because see, and I think that's one of the things that you're going to start to see,
which is crazy, because if you ask any preppers, they always want to have cash on hand just in case the system breaks down. And so I saw that on Two Families thing the other day. They had put on there that there was a local place that wasn't taking any cash; they were only doing ATM. And I thought, how interesting is that we always prepare the opposite way. Thinking we need to have cash and we have to have gold and we have to have silver. Where right now it's the total opposite. They want you to only pay with plastic. Mm-hmm. So that was kind of interesting.
Yeah. So there's a lot of things that a lot of people are learning. Everybody should be learning something through this. Whether it's learning how to cook, learning how to spend time with family, learning your children again, learning your spouse again. Mm-hmm. Learning how to plant something, grow your own food, something. Take advantage of this time and learn something. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I thought about how I get paid in cash. Yep.
Because look, they are hoping, everything that I gathered from us watching the news in the morning for current events.
Oh, you had to say something, Lauren. Oh. Yeah, literally need to launder your money. Exactly. I would prefer to use gold, silver, since they're both antimicrobial, antiviral, and the cloth dollars. Right. But, I'll even tell you from back in the day when I worked at Arby's, in the middle of the summer, even credit cards, you would have women, reach down in their bras.
Come on now.
And pull out. And you don't want to be touching that stuff. Just don't. That's disgusting. What? And just like these things, y'all. If you can use your speakerphone right now, probably the best thing for you. Because putting it up to your face constantly is not a good idea.
I had an aunt I guess it was on Daddy's side, that she used to keep a hanky down there. And if she saw something on your face or something, she would pull that thing out. Come here, baby. And don't let it be a hot day in Philly. Don't let it be a hot day in Philly.
I'm telling you, I can't tell you how many times I had dollar bills that were wet, and we would we'd have to put them out
butt sweat.
It was gross. Even Jason's wallet, he'd have his money in his wallet, and if he got to sweating too much, it was still.
That's the beautiful thing about a kilt now. I don't have to worry about that.
Yeah.
And it's almost kilt time. So, y'all don't want to see that, don't come to the house.
See, you'll be just about done with your project by the time kilt time comes around.
Come on.
There is a God.
Stay cold till then.
I almost wore it today, ain't gonna lie.
Even Tori. Anyway, so yeah. So get out there, get to growing stuff, get your hands dirty.
And it was
and then wash
funny
them.
because I went to go get some rice, some dry beans and stuff like that. The whole supermarket area. Even different kinds of flour, yeast. I'm like, dang, people are learning how to make bread now because all the bread is gone. And it's crazy.
We had a lady, we were in front, or there was a lady in front of us. It was an older lady, and she wanted to buy 2 loaves of bread. And the cash register lady was like, I'm sorry, our limit, you're only allowed 1 loaf of bread. And then she kind of looked at her and was like, get out of here. It wasn't like she was trying to buy 50 loaves of bread. She just wanted 2 instead of 1, And so, but I looked at the lady and said, I know, you can bake your own. It's not that difficult. I don't bake. I said, well, you might be when that's all out.
And it was the exact same time. Then 5 minutes later, we're out in the parking lot. We're putting stuff in the car. And there was an older gentleman. Because one of the things about this virus is it's bringing out some interesting people, but it's also forcing our our elders
Hey, Ricky, what's up?
to come out and have to do their own shopping because the person that was employed to do their shopping for them or to help take care of them is either sick or they're not doing it anymore because they let fear overtake them. And this poor guy was standing in the middle of the road, the aisle,
Right.
in the parking lot, and he was lost. He could not find his car.
Yeah.
And so I took our buggy back, and I was like, "Sir, can I help you? What? Let me help you find your car." I said, "What kind of car you got?" And he had to be in his mid-70s, early 80s, maybe. I mean, he was
an older
he
gentleman.
was an older gentleman,
Yeah.
and you can tell he didn't really take care of himself. And because he was like, "It's a gray car."
Yeah.
It was a gray car, and he pointed to the ones like that. And I said, "Okay." And he pointed to kind of like a newer car, and I'm like, "All right, it's got a panic button on it." And I said, "Sir, can I see your keys?" And he handed me the key, and it looked like our old Town and Country minivan key. And I went, "Huh." And so I just started I was hitting the panic button like this, and it come up behind us like two cars down from where Robin and I were parked. And it was a blue Town and Country minivan. And so I helped him get over to his car. We put his stuff in his car, and he went on about his way. But don't be if you see, especially one of our elders, y'all, if you see them out there struggling like that, because they're scared to death too. They're probably more scared than you and I because they're at a higher risk.
At least they've been made to believe.
Yeah.
Up until now, we've thought that it was mostly elderly. Now they're starting to have younger people, but you know, up until probably a week ago, it was all elderly people.
Yeah.
So
because if I that guy might still be there, or somebody would have called law enforcement to get them to come out there.
But now, don't be mistaken. As soon as he got in the car, I sprayed his butt down. So.
Which was kind of annoying.
Yeah.
I mean, she did. She's like, "Give me your hand." And so I put my hand out. She like squirted hand sanitizer on there, and I started wiping it off. And next thing you know, it was like a Catholic funeral in the car. And she was with On Guard. She was like, "Hamanai, no," you know.
Yeah, definitely. So, but yeah, I just
She started speaking in Latin and throwing On Guard on me.
Be careful. So one more thing that I find interesting. Everybody's talking about food and everything that's you can't find anywhere. Obviously, there's been the whole thing about toilet paper. The one thing that Jason and I noticed the other day is soaps are starting to run out. So like your dish soap, your laundry soap, sanitizing stuff, anything like that. And so that was one thing I was so grateful. I mean, there's other things that we've prepared for, but that was one thing I was super grateful for, is that we know how to make our own laundry soap. We know how to make our own dish soap, our own bath soap, shampoos, things like that, because it's, people are buying it too. And what's crazy is there's a lot of people that is like, yeah, I performed an exorcism. But the thing that's crazy is that, like even my daughter said to me, she's like, "So does that mean people weren't washing their hands very well before, and now all of a sudden we're realizing just
trending.
how nasty,
What did we learn in 2020? How to wash our hands and sing the alphabet.
Yeah. So.
City Girl said something about the Advil and the ibuprofen, and then April said yes, extending the virus.
Yeah.
Y'all start fact checking your stuff, because I've heard that is not true.
No, the ibuprofen I think I have heard. It's the one that I think that I've not heard to be true. I haven't seen any good evidence is elderberry. So those were two things that have come across the news. One is the ibuprofen and Motrin and stuff, and that one they have shown it's supposed to extend the virus. It's not proven, but it's there.
Well, Dana Cat, she fact checked the elderberry, and she said that was totally.
Well,
I
here's
have not
my
seen
question:
anything
how can either one of those statements be true?
because nobody knows enough about this virus to know whether or not this stuff does this. Yeah. And that's why I'm saying fact check, double fact check, triple fact check, because this virus has not been out there long, and there's people going to be out there that they're going to start spreading rumors, and they're going to start throwing stuff off at the cuff and doing a lot of knee-jerk stuff that you just don't know.
Right.
Okay, because this thing ain't been around long enough for anybody to know. Because if we knew that elderberry didn't work or ibuprofen extends it, we would be a lot closer to being able to figure out a vaccine or something, so then that way stuff can get back to normal. So a lot of this stuff that you're hearing is a lot of knee-jerk reactions. Mm-hmm. Look, I'm not a big advocate for commercial medicines as it is. I believe in herbs and essential oils and all natural. I believe that God put everything that we need to cure any disease that we have on this earth. Mm-hmm. He put it here. We just got to relearn it. Good
night, Ricky.
We just got to relearn it.
Ricky Bobby.
And because all of our medication came from that, and then they started making it synthetic, and they started building off of that. Mm-hmm. And so then the bugs and the viruses started mutating, and so then they had to mutate that medication to the point now that we have gotten so far away from the natural stuff that your natural stuff, garlic, elderberry, orange juice, vitamin C, all that stuff is really putting a whooping on some of this stuff, because that bug or virus has mutated so far that it lost its defense against that stuff. So don't jump, don't do any knee-jerk reactions. Y'all, this thing hasn't been around long enough to know if ibuprofen or anything like that can do anything. And same way with the elderberry.
So Half-Hearted Homestead says, my doctor told me the no Advil advice is anecdotal, but if possible, stick to acetaminophen. So, they do that. The guy that put out the elderberry is now being charged with some kind of charge for causing hysteria. His article has been taken down after I saw it. I'm sorry if my reading and commenting about it. No, it didn't cause an issue. I was just making a point.
No, it caused a major issue.
I was just making a point.
We got so many emails about that, Kyle, that it almost shut down our email account. And I was gonna bring this up to you, but since you want to bring it out in public like this, I'm gonna go on and air it out. You almost shut down my email, and I pay a lot of money for that email.
Yes, April. He says it very funny. Ibuprofen.
That's what I said.
No, it's not. You never say ibuprofen. You always say ibuprofen. It's funny, but I leave it alone.
I'm talking about my email. I'm talking about my email right now that Kyle almost shut down because you put people in a panic on my live stream, Kyle.
No, I just know that there's
I think that the proper repayment will be 4 stuffed peppers the next time that we are together. Just saying.
Anyway, so okay, and if you take chloroquine sulfate.
Can we get the Latin word for that?
Make sure it's the type prescribed by a doctor, which is used to clean fish tanks and toxic to humans. Bro. Yeah, there's a lot of people that there's all kinds of craziness going on. Just be careful out there. Don't believe the hype on some stuff. Also, be aware that some people are using this to their advantage.
Yes. Don't be that guy that goes into Walmart and doesn't want to stand in a line and start coughing and talking about he just left New York.
Step up, Jason.
Because, yes, I have witnessed how fast the people do disappear out of that line like they forgot something. And you get to move right on up, but do not be that guy. Because I'm that guy.
So, anyway. So, yeah, y'all just be careful. Enjoy your time. If you're in an area where there's a stay-at-home, just enjoy it. Just, try to get some things done that you might not otherwise have the time to do. Yeah. Take a chance.
Be positive.
Yeah.
Be positive. Wake up every morning and say, you know what? I'm going to make the most of this day. Mm-hmm. I'm going to take this day. I don't have to go to work. I don't have to put up with Joe Schmuckatelli at the job site because talking about all of his 14 chihuahuas or whatever that he has and you're just tired of hearing about it. Go, you know what? Today's going to be a good day. I'm going to learn how to plant some tomatoes today, or I'm going to learn how to make bread today, or I'm going to binge watch Big Bear Homestead today, or you know, I'm going to go build a chicken coop, or you know, I'm just going to go out.
Just living alone.
I'm gonna go out,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm just gonna enjoy some sunshine today. I'm gonna go for a walk in my yard. You know, I'm gonna come up with some. I'm gonna spend time with my youngins.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
Yep.
One of the best. Look, here's the best game in the world to play. You get up before your kids, and you get all excited. You're like, woo, it's going to be a good day. It's going to be a good day. Now, I kind of want the front yard to clean up, so this is what I've done. Somewhere out in the front yard, I hid a $20 bill. Whoever, you can't just go out there moving stuff. You got to pick up the trash, and you got to do this, and you got to do that, and you got to put stuff away. But whoever finds the $20 bill first wins.
Keep it.
They get to keep it. Woo! But see, to make this trick work, you got to go outside with them. Sit in a chair, let them do it. And you got the $20 in your pocket. Because technically, it's in the front yard. So you didn't lie to them. Okay? But your front yard gets clean. You get a good laugh out of it. They think it's a game, so they're having a good time. And be like, wait a minute, Daddy, we done cleaned up the whole front yard. Where's the $20? And you be like, oh yeah, right here it is. I forgot to put it out. I'm sorry. And then you give them both $10 if you got two kids. You give them both $10.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know, because you can't actually put it out there and get the front yard clean because one of them will find it, and if they find it too quick, then they'll be like, I got $20. Peace.
Done. That's mean but smart.
You know, you get your front yard clean.
Mm-hmm.
Do stuff like that. It's fun. Play board games with your kids. You know.
We went out before all this mass hysteria. We went out and re-upped our re-upped our stash of chalk.
Yes.
Sidewalk chalk, so you could draw on stuff. Little known fact, whatever that big word is a drug I currently have to monitor patients on and do excessive testing on because the damage it can cause to their central vision. I pray for better. Wow, that's crazy.
So that's what's wrong with him.
God, you need your beard back.
Y'all just gonna have to get used to this because I enjoy being in the wood shop, and I love my wife. And she laid down an ultimatum when I blew my nose, and all that sawdust came out. It was either sell all my tools, or shave my face. I was not attached to the beard.
The way that he's attached to his tools. Or to his wife.
Because I mean, at the end of the day, y'all, that wood shop provides. Mm-hmm. It helps me build coops. It helps me build fences. It helps me build pens. And here pretty soon we're going to be rolling out.
Rolling out?
I see what you did there.
He said
a product that I have made here with the stuff in my wood shop. Mm-hmm. So, you know, so it's, I mean, I'm sorry. I know you guys kind of like the beard and you got used to seeing me with a beard because I had it for a long time. But it's going to be it for a while. Unless you guys want to pull together and put a dust collection system in my shop.
Yeah.
Then
that's about the only way.
Then I'll grow it back.
Because it gets rough in there. Like, it really does. Like, the dust in there can be pretty rough. So.
And then y'all Georgia pollen is
horrible.
Oh,
you know, it's crazy. We were riding with the windows down
Apollo
this morning.
was yellow the other day.
He was yellow earlier, too.
Yeah. You can't even walk outside and not get it on your phone. Like, I was going to take a picture or something, and, like, you can look at it from the side. There's pollen all over it. So, Jason, did you ever get into your shop?
Yes. Got into my shop.
You'd be wearing a different mask in this household.
That's only if
No,
he eats
that's
cheese.
what he has. Get an RZ dust mask. They work well with beards.
Nope, they don't work. Well, see, you gotta remember, y'all. I had that big poofy beard that was like down to.
No, it was like here.
Yeah. Let me live. It was here.
Yeah. So.
And so now
I have
RZ
a lot of tools. I would say buy wife.
I know, right?
Yeah, we do have the RZ masks. We've had those for a few years. Apollo's like, shut your face.
Does he normally do that?
Yeah.
He's dreaming.
He's dreaming.
Oh,
Yeah.
I thought he had the corona.
No. He every once in a while he'll
I think
dream.
he's like chasing a rabbit because he'll start like this, and then he usually lays on his side. Then he'll roll over to his side, and his feet start going.
How they go again?
It's almost like when Blaze would tell us, get a set of scuba tanks, Jason. The seasons of Georgia: pollen, fall, winter, pollen, spring, pollen, summer. Yeah. Well, what's crazy is when you're driving down the road and you can see the pollen in the pine trees. Like you could see these big, huge pollen puffs, whatever they are, just full of pollen waiting to come down. That's the only thing that I don't mind about the rain in the springtime is that it does wash off a lot of it.
Yeah.
But it's still nasty. It's everywhere. So, all right, well.
Yeah, we've been on here almost 2 hours.
Almost 2 hours. Again, crazy.
Every time Sydney comes around, he wants to just take the limelight for like 2 hours.
I didn't say nothing the whole time. I was
I
quiet.
know, always.
I always have to monitor the missus.
Oh, he has to monitor you.
Yeah. Sometimes I got to put it in her plate.
Wow.
Hope she's not watching.
You want me to hit him again? Because I can. I'm like right here. Do you want a Christopher beard?
Who's a Christopher?
LOL. Let him live. I don't know. Christopher beard. Who's Christopher?
I don't know.
Oh, like Chris? Not like Chris, right? Like single dad? I don't know. All right. So, 9:42. Time for bed.
I want to know who she's talking about.
I don't know.
Columbus?
You see the eyeballs on the screen for you, right?
That's not for me. She's looking at you. Look,
No.
see the eyeballs pointed that way?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but I don't think she's looking at me. I think you're scared to go back to Texas.
He needs to watch his backside. She's talking about you, sir.
Now, where's the
next
administrators?
the next absolute next Naked Gun live stream.
Bless you.
We were 59 away. You could have got me dancing.
Sydney, it's a good thing you're at Jason and Robin's. Otherwise, I think you'd be sleeping in the doghouse tonight.
Doghouse, a.k.a. my house.
Such a dork.
I can talk mess when I'm away.
When you're away, yeah. But I noticed in your live streams that you try to start talking a little mess and then you just get like really quiet.
I gotta.
Yup.
She's very abusive.
No, I don't believe that for a minute.
No, I've seen it. She is kind of abusive, just
Yeah.
like you.
See, she admits it.
Yup.
Yep, she's abusive.
I think that might be back.
No, I'm just going with the abusive part answer.
Dance.
If you don't start dancing, she's gonna be
Jason
like,
said he wanted a long beard. Yes, like Chris. Yeah.
you know what? If you don't dance, you know, you might go back to Texas and she might be like, stop. Don't touch me there. That's my no-no square.
All I gotta do is says, open sesame.
Wow. She's like, so? It's funny. Anyway.
All right, y'all. Well, be kind to one another. Be careful. Be safe. Keep
Use
a positive
common sense.
attitude. Keep a positive attitude. Pray more. Pray often. Yeah, do the truffle shuffle. Plant something.
learn a new skill, wave to people, and say hello. Stop. Don't touch me there. That's my no-no square.
What is this no-no square dance you keep on referring to? You got to do it now that you're
I ain't doing it now. But
oh, we're still on?
Yeah, we're still on.
Oh.
From Robin and I, we're going to remind you to plant smiles.
Grow giggles. And harvest the
Oh, yeah, and harvest the love.
Good night, y'all.
Good night,
One day I'm going to have a guest that can finish it with us. Promise.
Good night, y'all.
Good night.